So yeah, it's not acceptable because yeah, obviously there is some level of understanding of universal decency, I suppose. And yeah, for me, I mean, as I say, for me, someone can take their clothes off as long the reason to do it is to feel free. It's no to cause to me a personal, I don't know, as an exhibition kind of that is towards someone. Is like people, they can be nude. There is some areas that people can be nude, like in the beach. Some beaches allow that, and I think for me it's perfectly acceptable. Some people don't accept that, even it's a designated area for that. People don't accept that. I do accept that. I think as long people is doing it for personal. Freedom, sense of freedom, rather than to don't do it for offending someone or make someone's feel have a reaction from people. I think they are doing it because some people like to be known. And I think for me, definitely, it's very acceptable, some people have been taking their clothes off just in some kind of broadcast sports, just for, I don't know, to get some reaction. Will I put that person in jail? No, not really. I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't, but I suppose there is some level of understanding in terms of decency or whatever. However, I think that the boundaries are very, very blurred, because one thing is to be nude, other thing will be obviously some kind of exhibition or exposure to target someone's attention. It will be different things, but it's if someone do it just for the feeling of doing it, I would say it's very difficult to make that a crime, and to what extent that should be a crime, really, either. But okay, I suppose there is some level of what is decency or indecent exposure, which is also reflected in the law, but I don't know the exact criteria, so I will understand that. But a piece of cloth that is only covering your hair, really the purpose of that piece of cloth is clearly not exposure of indecent or decent or decency in your body exposure. It's more a symbol of in this case religion, but definitely as well gender, very gender specific. And when there is so gender specific, I always think, well, this is not gender specific, and you say that it's just for universal how they call it, dignity. Why they don't the opposite gender do it as well, let's the other opposite gender to do it and see if they feel the same, so yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's just a veil, it's just you covering hair, and that's not the reason. Definitely, there's not a reason to be a crime, It's the level of decency or indecency in terms of body exposure, So obviously there is further reasons and very gender-specific reasons as well. Definitely is something that is not universal acceptance. So because it's not universal acceptance, I would say it doesn't consider basic human right. Or is overriding basic human right in a way. So for me, that is unacceptable. I'm sorry to say. For some people, that I'm sure they don't want to hear that, but at this point, I wouldn't hesitate to say that that's the way I feel about that. There is other two cases. The other two cases are still very in progress, I will say. They are very, very popular cases because the people involved are in very power roles in society. So obviously we need to be careful, to obviously take any sides. But however, saying that, one of the cases is the case of having happening with Meghan Markle and the royal family, British royal family, and for what I heard, Meghan Markle was in an interview with her husband, which seemed to be agreeing with what she's reporting. And what she is reporting is to feel victimized in a way, And I never heard a specific name, one person accusation. Definitely, as far as I know, there is no court involved. So it's just more than anything, that interview was about how she feels. And also, I think, was about why they moved abroad to America as a family. But, the feeling, the family, the feeling of that was the best thing for the family, meaning Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and the child. And and they took that decision as a family, and I believe both of them are more or less believe that was the best decision to make. And I think it was a lot about how the family was feeling, but also how Meghan Markle was feeling within this royal family environment. And she never, as far as I know, she never mentioned any name. The case is not in court, so there is no like a charge to anyone. It's just for me, I thought was exposing the way she feels, and I think everyone should feel free to expose the way they feel. And yes, of course, it's gonna impact somehow to another person. But let's remember that she never say a particular name. She never say one person, so she's no accusing someone in particular. She's just talking about how she feels in general. So. And also, as well, as I say, I think as someone should be able to explain how you feel, And then, but then the response from a member of the royal family, or more than one member, I don't know, I believe some are not getting involved or just stepping back. I'm not sure who is doing one thing, who is another. However, have been, and it should be, at the end, sooner or later, it's going to have to come forward the name of the person that what they have done is to sue Meghan Markle for bullying members of the staff in the royal palace. And I was very shocked. I was really, really, really shocked with that decision. First of all, because as I say, she never accused one person, so she's not really accusing. She's not really accusing anyone. She is just telling the way she feels, you know. It's like, I remember this program, Stranger Things, and the little girl she is walking in the street, you know. I think she has some kind of power. I can't remember very well. I don't know if she's coming from a different planet or she just have some powers, but she's not socially she doesn't familiarize, you know, with the social dynamics, or she doesn't get used to. She's not used to the social dynamics at the level of daily living. And I remember very often she was, if someone was pushing her, you know, or, you know, something like that, she was saying bully, you know, calling that person a bully, you know. And was she wrong? Was she right? Well, in her mind, she was right, you know, because in a way, it is some type of bullying, you know. It's one, you know, grown man or grown woman, you know, don't look where they walk and they just push around. It's some kind of bullying. But that is not to say that they should be charged, you know, and go to prison. But it is some kind of bullying, you know, that it doesn't have to be accepted either, you know. But you cannot accuse that person. You cannot because it will be too much, you know. Also because the law doesn't really, you know. It doesn't really reflect that kind of bullying behavior, but also because it will be too much, you know, to charge someone for reasons like that. But still, you know, you can't report it in general terms, you know, to see that, you know, that is happening in our culture, and, you know, it is we report it as an issue in society, then we can all, you know, work to improve it. And for me, that's more or less what Merkel was trying to, you know, to highlight. That's the impression I got, obviously. But then, whether it was one member of the royal family or more than one person, is that was one member deciding to take Meghan Markle, to suit Meghan Markle for bullying. I just wonder, for me, that feels like she never said one name, but that person took it personally. So in a way, it feels like, well, if you feel identified with what she say when she never say a person, but you feel identified with that, it must be because it feels a bit like maybe you have done it, you know, maybe that's why you feel identified, but maybe it's not the case, you know, but it feels, you know, at first look, it can be taken that way, to be honest. And maybe no, you can feel offended as a, you know, as a member of one group without being feeling as a personal attack to you individually. But still, I just cannot agree with that, to come now and sue Meghan Markle for abuse to the employees. If that was true, she abused employees, they should have done that before, okay? If they allowed that to happen before, okay, it's because it was fine before. It was fine before because she was okay in the family, and now that she's not okay with the family, then any reason to get her in trouble should be used. So I just cannot agree with that for that reason, but also because, as I say, is the interview, which I felt was more about talking about how she feel and why she moved to America, rather than, you know, get anyone in trouble. I think every victim have the right, or every person that feel victim, I have the right to expose it, you know. And it's you every time you report you feel victimized, you are then attacked and destroyed, you know. then how is possible we ask people for whistleblowing? It's not possible. It will not be possible. And then people years later, they say, why they never say anything? Well, obviously, it's someone there to say anything. It's not even making anyone in problems, but just to mention that they were feeling victimized, and that's enough for just destroying them legally, and and their life really. I think that just, and I don't think they maybe realize that, but that's abusive. That's abusive. I'm not saying the person is an abuser. I'm not saying that, but that action, even it probably is not even deliberate, but that action in that circumstances and that moment, it's abusive. It's abusive. But then, obviously, I wasn't, I'm not going to say I was surprised, but what frustrated me really is that immediately the right party took side against Meghan Markle. And I thought, of course, there is a chance. If there is a chance, and I'm not saying this is the situation, but if there is any chance of abuse of power, and I've been saying that in many of my videos, the right wing will not shine away. They will not shine away from abuse of power, okay? Because they cannot identify. They don't have the qualities or the awareness to identify abuse of power. I'm not saying this is abuse of power, but but they don't know that. They don't know that. The only thing they see is taking the side of the person that have more power, or the group that have more power. And in this case, obviously, it's gonna be the royal stamp, or the royal duty, no, how you call it? The royal capacity, or no, how you call it? Let's say the royal family. Let's simplify this a little bit. In this case, the royal family have more power than, just Meghan Markle. And that's the only thing they see, As soon as they see they can take sides of one person that is half power, more power, they always gonna stand up as soon as they can to that person, so they are connected to that power, And it's I just feel it have to be said. It have to be said, Have to be said that it's just seen so many times. It's again and again and again and again and again that the right wing, the right side of politics, always is involved in some kind of abuse of power. And I'm not saying what's happening with the royal family and Meghan Markle is abuse of power. I'm not saying that. But is that now taking the right side politics side of the family is turning into that. It's turning into that because they don't even know. They don't even know what the situation is, but they already immediately take a side for the royal family. They don't know if she was victimized, really. They don't know. But they already have taken a side. Obviously, what a coincidence for the powerful force here, which is in this case the royal family. And it's always like that, always. And I've been saying that in quite a few videos, so if you want more examples of that, you can watch those videos when I definitely talk about that. And so yeah, this is not about the difference between the royal family and Merkel, because every family have disagreements. However, when one group or one side have more power than the other one, they have to be careful how they use it. And I think at the moment it haven't been used very well. I don't know which member of the family decided to sue to Meghan Markle for abuse of employees, but whether that responsibility was taken by one member of the family or more than one member, I don't know. To be honest, I prefer not to know, because it doesn't matter. I think maybe they haven't realized. If they haven't realized, they need to start realizing that very soon. The use of power here is not being used very well. Okay, so they need to think about that very much, a lot. How they're gonna use that power, because they have one very powerful force, and they need to be careful how they apply that force against one person. At the end of the day, it's just one person who never caused a legal problem or a serious problem to any person in the royal family. She just talked about how she feels and how in general she feels she wasn't treated that well. And I don't think anyone should be accused, should be taken down because of that, At the end of the day, that's what whistleblowing is about, So that's the case. But also, obviously, there is this man, Morgan Pierce, which is in this program this morning, maybe and it has been in other programs. I don't agree or disagree with the man. Sometimes I don't agree in the way he works, but then sometimes, people tend to like it, and who is me, I haven't seen every program, so I can't really judge for his work. I just can judge for some things, but then apparently he have to walk out of his program because he apparently he said, and that's what the news say, that he said to Meghan Markle that she was feeling suicidal when she said that. I mean, I don't know the man. I know a little bit. I don't know. I have a mixed feelings about it, to be honest, because sometimes I think I don't agree the way he speaks, but then sometimes I feel that have very good reception. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I just seen